After reaching the UCL final and actually losing that final to Real Madrid, Jadon Sancho had a very fruitful loan spell at Borussia Dortmund. However, his unbroken relationship with Erik ten Hag saw him actually shift to London, and Chelsea is his new home after Chelsea signed him with an obligation to actually buy him in the summer transfer window. So Enzo Maresca has had positive things to say about Jadon Sancho, and in our video today we are going to try and look at our topic of discussion when it comes to Jadon Sancho. So Sancho is quite a controversial player, with a lot of people actually questioning his body language, his off the pitch strength when it comes to his discipline and how he's able to relate with his managers. But one thing that you cannot take away from Sancho is that he's a very talented player, he's a very skillful player, and he's a very promising player. He was actually deemed out as one of the best wingers previously when Chelsea were actually linked to him. So Enzo Maresca talks about how Sancho would be a very huge asset for Chelsea when Chelsea will be facing lower blocks teams. So our question today is, how does Sancho improve Chelsea? How does Sancho get the best out of Enzo Maresca's system? Now, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Now, Chelsea are a possession-based team, and sometimes they'll be facing a team that sits in a mid-block that actually generates them space in behind. And here, their reliance of wingers is very, very important, in that wingers will actually be the ones that will help them play balls in behind. And Maresca wants his wingers to start out wide so that they can create 2v1 overloads against opposition fullbacks. And if the fullbacks decide to maintain a narrow shape, then Chelsea expects their wingers to be fast enough to receive the ball in behind the defense line. And looking at Pedro Neto and Noni Madueke, Chelsea have those quick, lightning wingers. Now, Pedro Neto down the left is more of a, because he's left-footed, he's more of a crosser from that position. And when we look at Chelsea's previous left winger, Raheem Sterling, who had fallen out of favor with Enzo Maresca, he fell out of favor because of the way Raheem Sterling receives the ball. Now Sterling receives the ball, and because he's right-footed, he tries to dribble toward infield to try and create a chance or try to score from this position. However, this is problematic for Maresca because he'll have now the half space being overloaded with two players. And once he's playing in this kind of system, this even brings structural issues to the team, because now the space in behind Raheem Sterling is susceptible to counter-attacks, and the opposition can actually create 2v1 scenarios against Chelsea in this position. Mudryk in this left-wing position offers even something much more different. Unlike Raheem Sterling in this position, Mudryk offers Chelsea's pace in this position, but Mudryk, unlike Sterling, is not a dribbler. He's a player who wants to pass the ball in field and look to make runs forward so that he can receive a quick pass in behind. But sometimes we've seen this season and last season is that when Mudryk attempts to play this pass in field, he loses the ball, or how he actually receives the ball in this position, he loses it. And this has left Chelsea susceptible to counter-attacks from this position, and therefore Mudryk has also not been preferred. This has now forced Enzo Maresca to actually make adjustments, and those adjustments in this team has been trying to bring in other players who can actually look to give Chelsea some solutions in these areas. Now, Noni Madueke has actually been complimented by Enzo Maresca as Enzo Maresca's best winger. Now, he's a winger who does not dribble towards infield, but rather he dribbles towards the byline. This is something that I even said last season. He's a winger who likes to receive the ball and look to dribble by the byline. This allows Cole Palmer to actually operate in that half space region. That's why we've seen the link up between Palmer and Madueke has been right, because Madueke does not actually try to congest the space that Cole Palmer actually occupies, allowing Cole Palmer to occupy his right half space position and Noni Madueke to play the way he wants, that is, receive the ball and dribble towards the byline. This allows a player like Cole Palmer to receive the ball and look to play those balls in those advanced byline areas where Noni can either look to cross or attempt a shot. Against Wolves, we saw how Noni Madueke managed to actually score goals from this position. Now, when you understand that Enzo Maresca is praising Noni Madueke in this kind of game, it's because Noni Madueke is dribbling towards the byline. Now, Enzo Maresca talked about how Sancho will improve Chelsea when Chelsea are playing against a lower block. Now, lower blocks teams' aim is try to reduce the space in front of their goal. Their main aim is to remain compact, solid, rigid, and prevent balls from being played through them. This leaves Chelsea the space in the wide areas and makes even more important the role of the wingers. Now, wingers in this role are very crucial. Now, when you look at Jadon Sancho coming into this team, he gives what Noni Madueke actually gives to this team, and that is his ability to receive the ball in this kind of position and look to dribble. But Sancho will not dribble inwards until he reaches the byline. He dribbles similar to how Noni Madueke dribbles, but now he's much more composed on the ball. He holds the ball much better, and he will dribble towards the byline. And once he dribbles towards the byline, he will now be cutting in from the byline, as you've seen that even in his goals at Manchester United. He will dribble, reach the byline, then now start to cut in from that position. And in this position, he also has that creative instinct, either to cross the ball to his far side winger, cross the ball onto the 6-yard space, or cross the ball, make a cutback for his opposition number 10. And that is something that gives Sancho a great strength. Unlike when you have Neto in that position, Neto will most likely just cross because he's actually playing with his weaker foot. Another thing we know about Sancho is that he's very fast, and once the balls are also being able to be played over the top, he's more likely to actually find himself at the end of those balls. Sancho is also a player who's very good at holding the ball. We know how Guardiola has really preferred Jack Grealish in this position, as Jack Grealish knows how to hold on the ball and take on the pressure. Sancho is also very comfortable in tight spaces, using his dribbling ability to actually beat opponents and actually create spaces. Sancho is also quite flexible. He can actually move to the right at times when Enzo Maresca wants to have right-footed winger on the right and left-footed winger on the left, giving Enzo Maresca much more dimensions, in that Sancho in this position can look to be the player who receives the ball in the wide area and attempt to cross balls. This is when Chelsea are actually facing a deeper, rigid, lower block. Now you can see from this clip how Sancho is. Sancho is a player who's not afraid to dribble past his opponent. He's a player who's very composed under the ball. He's a player who does not lose the ball quite easily. We know how Mikhailo Mudryk has lost the ball for Chelsea. Look at how he dribbles. He knows how to dribble. He knows how to pass the ball in field. He knows how to look to dribble towards the touchline, then look to cut in field and actually look to create things. Now, because of Sancho's ability to actually look to create things in this position, his pace and his ability to actually take on his players 1v1, this actually adds another dimension to Chelsea. Sancho will give Chelsea tactical flexibility, as well as give Chelsea the ability to have a player who's very dangerous in 1v1 opportunities. Currently, we can only say Noni Madueke is the best 1v1 player, but Sancho is better than Noni Madueke when it comes to his 1v1 ability. His ability to actually receive the ball, look to dribble with the ball, he likes to take on his winger, he likes to attack that byline, is actually going to ensure that Chelsea are able to stretch opponents down the left. Now, unlike Chelsea had Noni Madueke down the right, now Chelsea will have both Sancho and Madueke on both areas. Now, this will give Chelsea even more strength when they are looking to try and go against a lower block. Lower blocks try to sit deep, and restrict spaces in behind. But when you have a player such as Jadon Sancho in this position, then what you're saying is that you have the ability and the qualitative strength to actually look to beat your opponent. Questions will forever be asked about his overall discipline in the team, but I believe that this is a player who has something in him. If he was actually being rumored to come to Chelsea in the summer of 2021, and how a lot of Chelsea fans wanted him, and how he has played exemplary well when he played at Borussia Dortmund, further indicates how this is a player who heavily relies on his moods when he's playing his football. If Chelsea can manage, if Enzo Maresca can manage to have him buy into his ideas and have him believe into the process and actually look to play for the team, then Chelsea are going to have a deadly winger. You get Sancho happy, you get Sancho enjoying his football, you can get the best out of him. So that is how Sancho will actually look to improve Chelsea. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video.